On the phone, we
So
have former Chicago Bear and Dallas Cowboy Chuck Howley. How you doing today, Chuck?
doing great, doing great. I'd like to be doing better, but I'll take it as it comes.
Sounds good. I see that you grew up in West Virginia. You went to West Virginia for college. Was that your only
That's
choice?
correct.
Was that your only choice
Uh,
of colleges, or did you have some other ones who wanted you?
Beg your pardon, can you come back again on that?
Yeah. Did other colleges recruit you besides West Virginia?
No, I didn't. Went to the university and I was very happy there.
Among the many sports in which you excelled, one of them was gymnastics. How did you get started in that?
Well, kids they travel around a little bit, and that's what I was doing. I was playing around with a bunch of people at the Y, and it turned into be a little bit of shows here and shows there. Okay, we had a bunch of guys that did a lot of gymnastics and did little shows here and there for all like I don't know what you call it, type of weekend schools and stuff like that. We just did that for fun, is what we did.
I, s-
And that's how I got into the gymnastic portion of it.
I see that you played basketball also. Did you play any basketball at West Virginia?
No, I didn't play in basketball. It's one I didn't have time for.
Because your teammate would have been what, Jerry West there?
I didn't follow you
No
on that.
problem. Jerry West would have been your teammate in college at West
Oh yeah,
Virginia.
no, he was after me. I was before him, and I wouldn't even attempt to be close to Jerry West.
You also were on the swimming team and were an outstanding diver. How,
Well, yeah, I guess I don't know how outstanding, but yes, I was on the swing team.
You could float.
Well, that's where the gymnastic portion of it came in. And that's why I was in the diving portion of it. I did a lot of diving in 1 and 2, 3 meter boards. But it wasn't anything spectacular, but it was something that I enjoyed doing. And I had to go to school if I didn't go to practice.
Yeah, when did you have time to study?
Well, that's what they were wondering sometimes. I was very fortunate, though. Very fortunate.
when the 1958 NFL draft came, were you aware that you were going to be drafted as high as you were?
No, I was quite surprised about that whole deal, and made me feel really good. I'll tell you, I never thought I'd be drafted number one, but that's what it was with the Bears, and I was happy with them, and I, I was just very happy with it. Okay.
You were joining a good linebacker crew. You had Joe Fortunato and Bill George there.
Yes, that they were a very strong group and a very educational type deal because I was a rookie and I got educated real quick, if you know what I mean.
I'm sure. They look at this guy from West Virginia and they say, he's coming here to take our jobs.
Yeah, we had small linebackers in those days. Today the linebackers are 240 and 250, and I was a little mediocre 220, and 215 at that time.
What was Coach Harris like?
He loved to win, and he didn't play. No, he was a great person. He did well, but he was in he just wanted a strong effort from his players is what it was.
So you played the 58 season, then in training camp in 59, you injured your knee. And you
That's
thought,
correct.
well, that was a brief career.
It was a brief career, and I accomplished what I wanted to do when I guess when I got drafted. I just wanted to feel that, okay, I was able to get into the pros, and that was enough. So I thought, well, I'll just hang it up now. Well, between the Bears and the Cowboys, that's where it all ended up, and it led to another 13-year career because the Cowboys was very much interested.
So you go from a Bears team, which was known for their defense, to a new team in the Dallas Cowboys. But something the Bears and Cowboys had in common was defensive linemen. I mean, you had Doug Atkins with the Bears you were behind, and you had now Bob Lilly with the Cowboys.
Yep, it was great. I've had some great teammates over the years, with people like Bob Lilly, and Bob is still a great, not only a gentleman, but he just was a great ball player. And he's a small.
Now, you played in the West Virginia alumni game in the spring of '61.
I believe so.
I
believe so.
I assume your knee was in good enough shape and you felt confident enough?
That was kind of a testing ground to see if I wanted to go back to pro ball or not. And I didn't wear a brace or anything. I just went out and played. And maybe that's what you need to do sometimes. Both of my knees have held up well, even though I've had them both operated on. I haven't had a reoccurrence of injury on either one of my knees.
What was the difference between Tom Landry as a coach and George Halas?
Oh, I would say that we're quite different. Halas could really chew you out in a manner, and Tom, you just knew all you had to do was look at you, and you wanted to go crawl in a hole somewhere. He didn't have to chew you out. You just knew that he was not satisfied.
Were there times when you knew that Landry was going to look at you that you just wanted to cover your eye or look away?
Yeah, Tom was. He was. Well, I spent more years with Tom Landry than I did with George Halas, and I had assistant coaches with the Bears because I was defense, and Tom, he coached both ways, so we got the head coach all the time.
Was there a lot of pressure on the Cowboys because you guys were known as America's team?
No, I don't think we really paid that much attention. The front office paid a lot of attention to it, and it made us pretty proud, but it also put a lot of pressure on us all the time because there was, you never had that perfect team, and it was quite a few years before we were able to achieve not a perfect team, but a team that could win.
Before they were America's team, though, they were America's whipping boy. You came to an expansion franchise that had an 0-11-1 record. When you got traded, was there a part of you that says, I wish I could have stayed in Chicago rather than going to this team that just starting off?
No, I don't quite remember. It's been quite a few years ago, and I don't quite remember exactly how that all transpired, but I do know they gave up quite a few draft choices for it. You're always interested to figure out how valuable, you were to that particular team. What did they give in order to get you? And so I was concerned that, in that respect, and well, I was just trying to find out, in a sense, what it was, pretty much all about, really.
On the offense, you had Don Meredith as your quarterback for the beginning of the Cowboys' tenure. Then you went to Roger Staubach. It seems like those two were polar opposites in personality.
Well, you're right there. Yeah. No, Roger's a great quarterback, and Don Meredith was a great quarterback also, but in different ways. Don liked to be loose and play around a little bit. Rogers gets pretty serious most of the time. He doesn't goof off, you might say.
Everybody remembers, well, those of us who were around remember Super Bowl V, and you were the MVP even though the Cowboys lost.
That's correct. That ball was all over the field. And I actually thought we won the game. when the game was over, I just thought, we won the game. And then I looked up the score, and hell, we had lost. But it was a game that went back and forth throughout the game itself, and I was, it's difficult to win a game and lose the game. I mean, lose the game. Well, I don't know what I'm trying to say here.
Well, you intercepted two passes and recovered a fumble.
To come off a losing team in a game like that is what I'm trying to say, I guess.
Who was the leader of those Cowboys teams you were on?
Beg your pardon?
Who was the leader of the team?
Oh, I guess Leroy Jordan was to a great extent. He was one. Bob Lilly was. We had quite a few different leaders on the team. It was just that way. We had a lot of camaraderie among our players, and we were all happy with each other, and we all tried to do our best, in order to win a football game.
Did Coach Landry have a favorite player on the team?
If it was, I never knew who it was. No, he wanted to win too, in the worst way.
Now, after your performance in Super Bowl V, the Cowboys made it back to Super Bowl VI. This time, you won. You had a fumble recovery and an interception, and Staubach gets the MVP.
Mm-hmm. You can't fight the quarterback.
No, it's those guys will win it like 9 times out of 10, if not more. But Was there something about the Super Bowl that brought out the best in you?
It was just a big game, and I kind of can motivate myself, and I've always been that way. As I look for the big games, and I really try hard. It's not that I don't give 100% in the other games, but that's hard to say, because statistic-wise and everything that transpired in that second Super Bowl is, who should have got the MVP? I'm not so sure. But I'm very happy for Roger. He played a great game also. But we won the game, and I guess that makes a difference.
What is it with these Cowboy guys? After they retire, they go into business, and they become even more successful. Roger Staubach, I saw, was the most successful businessman, former NFL player, and you and Leroy Jordan. It seems like everything you guys touch turns to gold.
That's right. We had a lot of good ball players at that time, but we weren't a big team. We were good at what we did, and we had been together for a long time, so we was able to accomplish quite a bit at that time.
And even off the field with your businesses, you guys were all successful.
Yes. Well, we think so. I wonder sometimes business is going that good.
You also played in the NFL championship game in 1966 in Green Bay, known as the Ice Bowl. Have you thawed out from that yet?
Just barely. Just barely. It was a tremendous new experience to play in a game that cold, and it. It was like I said, it was an experience.
How did you feel when you found out that you were going to be part of the Ring of Honor?
No, I didn't, and I was quite honored to have, that award, or I really was.
Well, you were the fourth player whose name went up on the wall, the Texas Stadium Ring of Honor. Yeah.
I believe so. Yeah.
There is Bob Lilly, Don Meredith,
and
and
from
Don
a local
Perkins.
standpoint and everything, I think it's very rewarding to know that the fans in Dallas. I don't know how those things are awarded. To tell you the truth, but anytime you get an award such as that, you got to be really happy about the whole thing.
How did you know when it was time to retire?
My body told me to, and my wife definitely told me to.
Well, sometimes we don't listen to our body, but we better listen to our wife.
Beg your pardon?
I say sometimes we don't listen to our body, but if we're halfway smart, we do listen to our wives.
Yeah, but I've found out through experience now, because I'm 77 years old, and my body is telling me that every day. And so there's a lot that transpires back when you're playing. You think you can play forever, to what it is today. Because I've had 2 knee injuries. I've had, I don't know how many concussions. The concussion deal today, I don't know. I've got a partial dementia, you might say. I don't think I do, but people tell me I do. So I don't know.
Do you think you're going to make the Pro Football Hall of Fame one day?
I don't know. That's quite an honor, and how that works, your guess is as good as mine. I know the way I think, but I don't care to quote on it.
How did you get involved with breeding quarter horses?
I just love ranching, and I always have, and I've had my place for about 25 years, I guess. I had that back when I was playing, and I still have it today, and it's bigger than ever. And I got a good crew up there right now. They're doing a wonderful job, and I love ranching. The only thing I don't like is I can't ride anymore. That bothers me.
Who's got better?
Doctors told me do not get on a horse.
Who's got better quarter horses? You, Terry Bradshaw, or Mel Blount?
Oh, I don't try to do a comparison deal like that at all. It's tough. Horses are funny animals. They are. And I never got into the big money circle either. And I did what I thought was right, and I'm very happy with what I've got. I had 100. Go ahead.
I was going to say, you're a little large to be a jockey, aren't you?
Just a little bit. I just love to fletcher ride, and that's what I did up until the time I fell off my stud horse, and I had a pair of tennis shoes on, and it was crazy. I should not have had it on. I wasn't planning on riding that particular day, but I did, and I tried to get off my horse, my foot caught in the stirrup, and that wasn't good. And fortunately, being on a stud horse, he didn't blow up. He was a good horse. So I was able to get my foot out and carry on.
Who was the toughest running back to tackle?
Oh, hell. I can remember back, people like Jim Taylor was just a regular old bulldog, and,
What about Jim Brown?
Jim Brown was strong. He was totally different than Jim Taylor. Jim Taylor would just flat run over. Jim Brown would try to finesse you a little bit, and that's just the way it was. And he wasn't quite the power runner that Taylor was. And so when you tackled Jim Taylor, you knew you tackled somebody, because he was going to run over you if he could.